Hello, and welcome back to another session of Potluck. I'm your host, Mario Salvadore Jr. Today we have with us a world-renowned dancer and all-around performance artist. His name is Oscar Hawkins. Oscar,
Yes.
How are you doing today?
Oh, very well, man. How are you doing, Mario?
I'm good. I'm good. First and foremost, I want to mention you are you're one of the instructors for the BAA, which is
It's the Ballet Arts Academy in the Old Water School.
And where is that located?
It's in Southern Maryland, Charles County.
Cool. And I've actually seen like one of the sessions that you instruct, and who's the other fella that helps
That
instruct?
teaches. Oh, Fernando.
teaches-
He was actually a
Fernando.
guest teacher of mine.
Oh,
Fernando
okay.
Carrillo, yes.
Okay.
He's from LA, so he actually came in from New York to
Oh,
visit
wow.
us
Wow.
people down in the South.
That's cool, because then you get different techniques and stuff learned by the children there. Now,
Yes.
could you tell me a little bit more about the academy?
Well, the Ballet Arts Academy, it was founded by Jane Keating, a good friend of mine. Jane is sort of a old soul. She came from New York and she started this school about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And brought me in from Germany, from Berlin, to actually teach, a couple of master classes. And after, I guess, 6 classes, she decided, I need you to take over the school. She was going to Abu Dhabi. So I took over the school and brought the Vaganova technique, which is the technique that I studied.
Oh, that's cool. Now, where have you gotten your training? Because I know for a fact you went to Duke Ellington.
Yes.
I guess, is that Georgetown?
Yes.
Yeah, because I went to a conservatory near there. It's like maybe a couple blocks down. How did you get into Duke Ellington? And what were you studying?
I auditioned, then, I don't know if they audition now, but then we had to audition. I auditioned originally for the vocal music department, which is kind of, a bit funny. I auditioned for the vocal music department, got in, was studying classical music for a year. I had been singing since I was a little child in churches and different, showcases and things like that. So by the time I got into Duke Ellington, the classical music department, it was, I don't know, it was a bit slow for me because they were learning things that I had learned as a child all my life.
Yeah.
Music has been in my family for years.
So they were actually catching up to you.
They were, no, I would say that.
Come on, hurry up. I already know this now.
It's just that even though it was really different, it being classical training and all, but it wasn't so much different from what I learned in my gospel church, because they were really serious about about music and having well-trained voices as well as natural talent. I went to that department. I was in that department for about a year, and the guy Mike Malone, who's pretty much well known around D.C. area for doing Broadway musical shows, wanted to bring a musical to the school. And I auditioned, and he said, well, I need dancers who can sing and singers who can dance. And so I was like, well, I'm a singer who can dance. So
Isn't that where you actually started dance, or
Yes.
did you dance prior to Duke Ellington?
Never saw dance. I had a sister that did cheerleading. We were very competitive, so she was learning her splits, and somehow I was competing with her to see if I can get the splits as well as as she could. So by the time I was asked to dance, the only thing the guy asked me to do basically was, "Can you do a split right and left?" And I was sure. So I did. The right side actually was pretty easy. Left side, I was in a bit of pain, but I made it. Yeah. And afterwards, he asked me, did I have any dance training? And I said no. He said, you should go to the dance department. So, long story short, they pulled me into the dance department, and I started training in somewhat classical Vaganova technique then, but mostly we had African dance, contemporary dance, and different styles of modern dance.
That's cool, because dance is just like music. There's so many different styles and stuff like that, and it's good to have like a variety of stuff tucked under your belt. So that way, if anybody asks for something different, it's like, yeah, I got that, man. I got you.
Well, the funny thing is I think one of the most important things is to have a good root. For dancing, your base, your foundation. And, I was lucky that it started in Vaganova technique, the Russian technique, because it's so militant. And I think for guys, especially, I was from the country and I'm from Southern Maryland. it was important for me to kind of have that guidance, that really strict guidance. And I had a teacher who, you know, again, lucky for me, she took me from Ellington to, you know, a Russian dance program that summer with Mikhail Zavorovsky, he's historic dancer. He's on the lines of Mikhail Baryshnikov, and these type of dancers. And that summer, I had never taken any dance in my life, but for some reason it took to me. I was meant to do it. And he sent me to the Kirov Ballet to audition. And went there and right away was in the dance department.
Sounds like you have a really, just like right from the get-go, you have a strong passion for learning different techniques and stuff like that. And now you're world-renowned. For those of you that don't know what that means, like you know, like me, that means you're known around the world. You headlined for Cirque de Soleil.
Yes.
For like
5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 years I headlined for Cirque de Soleil Mystère, and it was really odd actually. I did a competition in Paris, the Paris International Competition.
Wow.
And they sent me this email out of the blue and said, you know, we had a guy that saw you there, and we really would like to have you come out to do Cirque. And everyone had heard of Cirque except me.
Yeah.
So, I just thought, okay, I'll get back to you on that, and we'll talk about it. But I ran out to the theater, and they just happened to have an IMAX in New York. I actually took a train in New York to go watch and see what this is. And amazing show. And the actual show that they were showing in the theater, the 3D show, was Pieces of Mystère. And yeah, so
so you saw like what they wanted you to.
I didn't see my character at all. That was the funny thing, you know. So, you know, I sat there.
They just made a whole new character just for you.
No, not at all. I mean, there was a guy doing it before me, and one thing they say, I mean, is that they, you know, have a lot of Russians in the show. I remade the character myself. They would normally have someone come out to Montreal, and you have about 3 to 4 weeks to learn different characters. And with this particular character, I think I learned it in 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And so, you know, the choreographer and I started playing around, and, you know, and I wanted to add, more difficult technique, because I was like, if I want to dance, I'm going to really dance. And I pretty much recreated the character, recreated the pas de deux,